I wanted to start first with a story, just because I like to do that. It's a true crime story about two brothers in Vermont in 1812, Jesse and Stephen Bourne. Jesse and Stephen Bourne did not like their brother-in-law. One day, the brother-in-law disappeared. The Bourne brothers became prime suspects. Witnesses began to say they'd heard the Bourne brothers threaten to kill their brother-in-law. Then items that purportedly belonged to the brother-in-law were found in the Bourne brothers' cellar. Then bones were discovered in the Bourne brothers' field. The Bourne brothers were arrested. A jailhouse informant said one of the brothers confessed to him. And then Jesse and Stephen Bourne both themselves confessed to authorities. In detail, they described murdering their brother-in-law with a club, burying his body, and then excavating and moving the remains twice. The Bourne brothers were convicted. Stephen Bourne was scheduled to be executed on January 28th, 1820. And that's when the brother-in-law arrived in town, alive. The Bourne brothers had confessed to a murder that never happened. In retrospect, the signs were all there. The bones in the field were actually dog bones. The jailhouse informant had a powerful incentive to lie. The confessions from the Bourne brothers did not match with known facts. But confessions are uniquely powerful as evidence goes. Most often, we believe them as truth. And for a very long time, it took something like this to exonerate someone who had falsely confessed, a kind of miracle. The victim had to come back to life. The Bourne brothers case, it's the first known wrongful conviction in the United States, the two of them. They're also the first known false confessions in the United States. But for a long time, for many years, it seemed like false confessions like this were very rare, a kind of freak accident. From 1820, when the Bourne brothers were set free, were saved from execution, from 1820 to 1989, just 61 people in the U.S. were exonerated after falsely confessing. And there's 61 known false confessions in 169 years. And we stop at 1989 because that's the year another kind of miracle happened, the first DNA exoneration. In 1989, for the first time, a DNA test proved someone's innocence after they were convicted and freed them from prison. This red line marks a new era of exonerations. It was the beginning of groups like the Innocence Project. Since 1989, there have been over 3,300 exonerations. 414 of those people falsely confessed. That is 414 known false confessions in just 34 years. For those 414 people, on average, 16 years passed between the day they were convicted and the day they were exonerated. Some of them were sentenced to death. About half of them were black. What's maybe most terrifying is that we really don't know the full extent of the problem. Is this 50% of the proven number? 414 confessions? Those were false confessions that were discovered and proven in court. But is 414 false confessions 5% of the true number or 50% of the true number? We just don't know. I think about the red line on this graph a lot. To me, it's a boundary between two worlds. To the left of the line is a place of intuition and common sense, which tells us that no one would confess to a crime they didn't commit, especially something like a murder. To the right of the line is a growing body of unequivocal proof that our intuition is wrong. False confessions do happen, and we believe them at an alarming rate. We now have more than 30 years of research in psychology on what causes people to falsely confess, and we have the lived experience of now hundreds of exonerees who can tell us firsthand how and why it happens. But what does all this mean for people who are in prison today, who claim they're there because of a false confession that was maybe taken on this side of the line before the explosion in our knowledge took place?